Hello friends. Today we're not just talking about a book, we're talking about a blueprint. A guide to building a life that isn't reactive, random, or rushed. We're diving deep into the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Now you know this ain't no flimsy self-help fad. This book, it's sold over 20 million copies, and for good reason. These aren't trendy hacks, these are time-tested truths, principles that stand the test of time. See, Covey wasn't just talking at you, he was talking to your soul. He wanted you to not just read these habits, but to live them, to breathe them, to let them shape you into the best version of yourself. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break it down step by step, habit by habit. We're going to think a little, and maybe we're going to walk away from this feeling a little bit more empowered, a little bit more in control, and a whole lot more ready to build the life we deserve. So, buckle up, let's go habit by habit, and somewhere along the way, maybe you'll find yourself. Now the first habit, be proactive. Covey begins where all change begins, with responsibility. Not in the punishment sense, but in the power sense. You have the ability to choose your response. That's the origin of the word, responsibility. Between what happens and what you do, there's a pause. And in that pause, says Covey, lives your power to decide. Example, you're stuck in traffic. Do you curse the world, or do you turn up a podcast and grow? Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, taught Covey this truth. No one can take your freedom to choose how you respond, not even suffering. Ask yourself, where in my life am I reacting instead of responding? Being proactive means shifting your focus from what you can't control to what you can. Your habits, your words, your tone, your next move. I'm not a product of my circumstances, I am a product of my decisions. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. This one's about having a vision, a clear picture of where you want to go in life. It's about writing your own story instead of letting life write it for you. Imagine you're at your own funeral. What do you want people to say about you, about your character, your contribution? It's haunting, but powerful. Covey challenges us to write a personal mission statement, not a goal, a compass. He says, all things are created twice, first in the mind, then in the world. Before building a house, the architect draws the blueprint. Before you build your life, design it in your mind. What matters most to you? Faith, family, freedom? Are your daily actions aligned with those values? Ask yourself, if I keep living the way I'm living, will I become the person I want to be? The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Now let's talk about habit 3. Put first things first. Now that you've envisioned your end goal, it's time to walk toward it, step by step, choice by choice. Covey introduces his famous time management matrix. Quadrant 1, urgent plus important. Crises Quadrant 2, not urgent but important. Relationships, planning, personal growth Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. Other people's noise Quadrant 4, neither. Netflix rabbit holes and TikTok doom scrolls. Most people live in I3 and IV, but the sweet spot, the quadrant of effectiveness, is Quadrant 2. That's where the future lives. Your exercise routine, your deep work, your quiet time with your child, your journal, your prayer. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Reflect. What's one important thing I've been putting off for something merely urgent? Habit 4, think win-win. This one's all about changing your mindset from competition to collaboration. It's about believing that there's enough success to go around. See, too many people out there think life's a zero-sum game. They believe that for them to win, somebody else gotta lose. But that's a scarcity mindset. Effective people, they operate from a place of abundance. They understand that by helping others succeed, they increase their own chances of winning. It's about finding solutions where everybody benefits. Let's say you're leading a team. Instead of saying my way or the highway, you ask, what's a solution that works for us all? It's about communication, compromise, and creativity. And remember, win-win is a belief in the third alternative. It's not your way or my way, it's a better way, a higher way. Don't be afraid to look for that third option, that win-win solution. It's always out there. Ask yourself, where in my life am I settling for win-lose, or worse, lose-lose? This next one's crucial, habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. In other words, listen up. Now I ain't talking about just hearing words, I'm talking about truly listening with the intent to understand. Most people are just waiting for their turn to talk. They already got their response ready before you even finish your sentence. But effective people, they listen with empathy. They try to see the world through the other person's eyes. They understand that communication is a two-way street. Now, Covey draws from ancient Greek rhetoric: ethos, your credibility pathos, your empathy logos, your logic, and in that order. But you don't need a PhD to understand this. Just remember, most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. So next time you're in a conversation, put down your phone, put away your agenda, and truly listen. You might be surprised by what you learn. Real listening isn't passive, it's radical. It says, you matter enough for me to suspend my own ego. You don't have to agree, but seek to see. Habit 6. Synergize is jazz. It's harmony. It's fusion. Synergize means this: together, we are better. Not just bigger but smarter, deeper, stronger. This one's all about teamwork. It's about recognizing that we're always better together. See, synergy is not just cooperation, it's creative collaboration. It's celebrating differences, not tolerating them. Understanding that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Think about it like a jazz band. You got your trumpet, your saxophone, your drums. Each instrument is great on its own, but when they come together, they create something truly special. In a healthy team, the introvert observes what the extrovert misses. The dreamer challenges the realist. The whole becomes more than the sum of its parts. And it doesn't just happen by accident. It takes effort, communication, and a willingness to be open to new ideas. Remember, synergy is what happens when 1 + 1 = 10, 100, or even 1,000. Don't be afraid to embrace collaboration, to seek out different perspectives. You never know what kind of magic you might create. And finally, we arrive at Habit 7, sharpen the saw. Now this one's all about taking care of yourself, about making sure you're always learning, growing, and recharging your batteries. See, you can't pour from an empty cup. You gotta take care of yourself before you can take care of others. Covey talks about 4 dimensions of renewal: physical, mental, spiritual, and social or emotional. Physical, that's taking care of your body, eating right, exercising, getting enough sleep. Mental, that's reading, learning new things, challenging your mind. Spiritual, that's connecting with something bigger than yourself, finding your center. And social or emotional, that's building strong relationships, nurturing your connections with others. Remember, sharpen the saw means preserving and enhancing the greatest asset you have, you. So take some time for yourself. Invest in your own growth and well-being. You deserve it. This creates what Covey calls the upward spiral: learn, commit, do, and repeat. Constant growth. So there you have it, the 7 habits of highly effective people. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize and sharpen the saw. These aren't just habits, they're a way of seeing, choosing, and living. They're a blueprint for building a life that's meaningful, fulfilling, and impactful. Now, I know it's a lot to take in. You ain't gotta master all 7 habits overnight. Start with one, make it a habit, then move on to the next. Tell me in the comments, which habit do you want to build this week? And if this video helped you, please like, share, and hit that glowing red button of effectiveness. Subscribe. Live with purpose, lead with character, and don't forget, every day is a chance to grow. Sharpen the saw. The habits in motion. You wake up. Instead of scrolling your phone, habit 7, you take 10 minutes to meditate or stretch. You write down your top 3 goals. Habit 2, the things that matter, not just the things that scream. Then you sort your priorities. Habit 3, blocking time for what matters most. A conflict arises at work. You pause, choose your response. Habit 1, and look for a win-win solution. Habit 4, you have a tense conversation, but you listen, really listen. Habit 5, and something shifts. You brainstorm with someone who's your opposite, and instead of clashing, you create something better than either of you imagined. Habit 6, and at the end of the day, you take a walk, read a page, say a prayer, hug someone you love. Habit 7 again. That's not just a productive day, that's a powerful life. So, here's your invitation. Choose one habit this week, just one. Put it on a sticky note. Set it as your phone wallpaper. Live with it, wrestle with it, reflect on it. Because that's how change begins. Not in a seminar or a sprint, but in a single, silent decision. And if you keep choosing those decisions again and again, you don't just become effective, you become exceptional. Until next time, be proactive, stay curious, and don't forget to sharpen the saw.